Hello there, welcome to NTV English News Bulletin. I am Bhavana Casey. In the beginning, we have the headlines. Election Commission unveils election schedule for November 20 federal and provincial assembly elections. Candidacy registration slated for October the 9. At least 8 people killed and 14 others injured following heaviest rain in decades in Seoul of South Korea. Rain likely to continue over several days. U.S. Senate approved $700 billion economic package. Bill seeks to lower cost of some medicines, increase corporate taxes, and reduce carbon emissions. And Stan Wawrinka suffers defeat to Emil Raducanu in the opening round of the Canadian Open. Jenson Brooksby registers win in other match. Welcome back. You are with NTV English News Bulletin. Now we have the news in details. The Election Commission has unveiled the election schedule for the federal and provincial assembly elections being held on November the 20. As per the schedule, candidates under the first-past-post system can register their candidacies on October the 9. The final name list of candidates will be published on October the 12th and symbols will be provided to them. The task of printing ballot papers will begin from October the 14th. Ballot papers will be printed by Janak Education Material Center. Chief Election Commissioner Dinesh Kumar Thapalia said the Commission on Sunday approved the schedule, however pointed out that some changes might be made later in the schedule. Voters will vote to elect 275 members for the House of Representatives, 165 under the first-past-the-post system, and 110 under the proportional system on November the 20. Similarly, 550 members for the 7 provincial assemblies will be elected, 330 under the first-past-the-post system and 220 under the proportional system. The Investment Board has approved Memorandum of Understanding to study and develop 1,200 megawatt hydropower projects in western part of the country. The board, however, approved the MOU with Indian developer National Hydroelectric Power Corporation Private Limited for conducting a feasibility study of the joint development of the hydropower involving 750 megawatt West Sethi hydropower project and 450 megawatt Sethi River 6 project, a combined capacity of 1,200 megawatt. The decision to this effect was made during the 52nd meeting of the Nepal Investment Board, chaired by Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba. The estimated cost of the project, according to the Investment Board, is $2.4 billion. With this update, time to go for a short break, but still to come we have. Welcome back. You are with NTV English News Bulletin. Now we have more updates, and let's have the latest from the international front. At least 8 people have died and 14 others have been injured as flooding caused by torrential rain hit parts of South Korea's capital, Seoul. Heavy downpours on Monday night submerged the roads, flooded metro stations, and caused the blackouts across the city and neighboring provinces. Some areas received the highest rate of rainfall in 80 years. Weather officials said the rain is likely to continue over several days. The U.S. Senate has approved a sweeping $700 billion economic package that includes major legislation on health care, tax, and climate change. The bill seeks to lower the cost of some medicines, increase corporate taxes, and reduce the carbon emissions. The passing of the bill, a flagship part of President Joe Biden's agenda, is a boost ahead of midterm elections. But it is a significantly scaled-back version of the $3.5 trillion package that was first proposed by his administration. More updates lined up on the other side, but before that, let's have what we have coming up next. Welcome back. You are with NTV English News Bulletin. Now to more updates from the international front. Ex-US President Donald Trump has said his Florida home was raided by the FBI and the and that the agents broke open a safe. Trump said in a statement that Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach was occupied by a large group of FBI agents. The search was reportedly connected to an investigation into Trump's handling of official papers. U.S. media reports that search is related to documents which the president may have taken to Mar-a-Lago on leaving the White House. The dramatic escalation of the situation comes as he prepares for a possible third presidential run in 2020-24. Nagasaki paid tribute to the victims of the U.S. atomic bombing 77 years ago on August the 9th, with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida reiterating his warning against the nuclear weapons. Mayor Tomihisa Taue in his speech said nuclear weapons can be used as long as they exist, and the only way to save the future of mankind is their elimination. Taue noting that Russia invaded Ukraine in February and threatened the use of nuclear weapons only a month after it and 4 other nuclear powers placed in a joint statement that nuclear war should never be fought. More updates lined up on the other side, but before that, let's have what we have coming up next. Polls have opened in Kenya's unusual presidential election, where a long-time opposition leader who is backed by the outgoing president faces the deputy president who styles himself as the outsider. The election is considered close, and East Africa's economic hub could see a presidential runoff for the first time. Hundreds of voters lined up for hours ahead of polls opening in some locations. The top candidates are Raila Odinga, who has vied for the presidency for a quarter century, and Deputy President William Ruto, who has stressed his journey from humble childhood to appeal to millions of struggling Kenyans long accustomed to the political dynasties. Now to sports. Finland's Emil Ruusuvuori defeated Switzerland's Stan Wawrinka in the opening round of the Canadian Open. Ruusuvuori won 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 in the match that began 4 hours after its originally scheduled start time on Monday. In the other match, American Jenson Brooksby beat Alexander Bublik of Kazakhstan 6-2, 6-3 to advance to the second round of the Canadian Open. Brooksby, ranked number 46, will face the winner of the match between Roberto Bautista and American qualifier Marcos Giron. With this update, we come to the end of this English News Bulletin. But before we say goodbye, let's have a quick reminder of the major stories. Election Commission unveils election schedule for November 20 federal and provincial assembly elections. For candidacy registration slated for October the 9th. At least 8 killed and 14 others injured following heaviest rain in decades in Seoul, South Korea. Rain likely to continue over several days. U.S. Senate approves $700 billion economic package. Bill seeks to lower cost of some medicines, increase corporate taxes, and reduce carbon emissions. And Stan Wawrinka suffers defeat to Emil Ruusuvuori in the opening round of the Canadian Open. Jenson Brooksby registers win in another match. Well, that's all we have in this edition of English News Bulletin. I'll see you again with next round of English Bulletin at 6 in the evening. Till then, have a great time ahead and do stay tuned with us. Namaste.